Hey everyone, welcome to Stand and Empower. I'm Lisette Lee, and in today's segment, I have my husband and special guest, Jorge Lee Prentice. So welcome.
Hello.
So I'm so grateful to have him in today's segment. He has so much knowledge and wisdom, and he's always willing to share. But I'm not going to tell you his story. I'm going to let him share his. So let's start off with, what are you passionate about? Tell us a little bit about the field that you're in.
So we own a couple of businesses. The one I spend most of my time is at Untamable AutoWorks. It's a custom car shop. We do everything that has to do with protection and aesthetics on cars. So we make cars look good. No mechanical work. So we do wraps and window tint. We do all levels of mobile detailing where we come to your home or office, and ceramic coatings, paint corrections, powder coating. So we do a lot with customizing and making cars look good.
Okay. Well, how did you end up getting into that field? Like, what led you there?
Well, that is my passion, is cars. I've always loved cars since I was a little kid. I was washing my parents' cars when I was like 12 and 13 years old, and it always been an interest and my biggest passion is cars. So that's how I started when I was. So to tell you a little bit about myself, I was born in Peru, South America. I came to the U.S. when I was 19 years old, and I wanted to work on something related to cars. So I just walked into back then into a dealership, and I said I just need a job. So they gave me a job as a lot attendant, which is the lowest entry level position you can have. I was making, I remember it was like $6.25 an hour.
Oh, minimum wage back then?
Yeah, and that's how I started. And then I started looking and seeing what the other people were doing, and then I kind of started creating a plan in my mind to, how to grow and to prosper in that field.
What did you do when you were in that position? Right, you started off as a lot attendant, and you're observing. Right, you mentioned having a plan, and for you, what steps did you take from that moment, like from that plan? Did you start, asking questions? Did you start getting like nosy in a good way, right, where you're just trying to figure out and see how the other departments worked? What did you do?
So that's funny, because that's exactly what I did. I was always looking at where the people were parking, like in the back of the building, far away, or in the front of the building, and I was like, oh, who's this person parking right in the front, right? And then I realized that those were the managers and the finance people. So then I started looking. So I went from lot attendant to salesperson and fleet manager, internet manager, and then I got into special finance, and then I did regular finance, and then finally later on, about 10 years later, I became a finance director, and that's what I did for most of my career. So I spent probably about 15, 16 years in the finance area at the dealerships,
Wow.
at retail automotive dealerships. Yeah.
What was the total amount of time you spend in that automotive world, right? How many years?
At dealerships, 27 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So you have no, you have no problem with pressure and high stress jobs, because that's really what that job entails.
Yeah. So I didn't really like salespeople. I still don't. Not in a bad way, but I was one of them, and I am one of them. So what I try to do is, there's always this little, idea about a salesperson at a dealership, right? And it's sometimes not all positive.
Yeah.
So how I overcame that was trying to be just different, and I was like brutally honest sometimes, and it cost me some deals and it cost me some sales, but overall, it ended up working really well.
Yeah.
People sense that you're being truthful and honest, and they don't expect that at a dealership normally.
True.
So that helped me a lot to be successful. And then when I got into finance, I was actually, by some reason, really good at it, and I didn't know I was going to be good because I didn't really not like math in school, but it was all about numbers, and I did numbers all day, every day when I was in finance. But
And he is very good with numbers, by the way.
it was a really good career choice for me. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy sitting in front of a Corvette in my office in the showroom for years, and it was very challenging in many ways, but I loved it.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing that part of your story. And when did you finally decide to just take the leap and start your own business?
I decided that probably about 17 years ago, when I didn't want to always be following somebody else's lead and somebody else's rules, and I've always had a little bit of an issue with that. But I did respectfully, and I did what I had to do for working for large corporations. But it wasn't my what I wanted to do for the long term. So I started thinking about how am I going to get out of this, right? How am I going to do my own thing? And then I started just thinking, like, what I want to do is I want to have no one sign my paycheck as soon as I possibly can. And that became my thing. Like, I put that in my mind, and every time I did anything, I had to talk with anyone about my job, I was like, I want to sign my own paychecks. I don't want to have anyone sign my paychecks. And that became my driving force through the years. And then in 2015, about 10 years ago, is when I became a partner in our first business, and I still stayed at the dealership for another 8 years until 2020, late 2022, when I finally left the corporate world, the 9 to 5, and then I said it's sink or swim now, and it's been a really hard challenge, but I'm glad I made the choice.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned challenges.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those challenges that you've had, and how have you overcome them?
Well, I had just like everybody else probably. One of my biggest challenges was I was born and raised in Peru, a third world country, and I was actually through my teen years. There was all kinds of things going on politically in Peru. So there was like car bombings in the city where I was growing up, and it wasn't easy to be 16 years old, and there's bombs going on in buildings and things like that. So when I came to the U.S., I had nothing. I spent the first year sleeping on the floor in a mattress at my uncle's house. Working 3 jobs, and I was happy.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and you can work and make money and be able to have money. It's a little bit different over there. Sometimes you can just work all day and you don't have enough money, right?
Yeah.
Here you have the opportunity to do that, to work and make money, and so I think I have an advantage over a lot of people in the fact that I appreciate everything a lot more. Everything that I have, everything that I've gone through,
including challenges.
Yeah, I appreciate it because I know what it's like to not have those opportunities. So I will say, just I embraced a lot of opportunities when I was younger, and I worked. I wasn't afraid of working, and then luckily I was working on something that was related to a passion of mine, which is cars, and working at a dealership, even though it wasn't directly, it was related to, and that helped me. I think, be successful in that. And then eventually, with Untamable AutoWorks, we did, what is my ultimate goal. When I left the dealerships, I said I'm gonna open up one more company that is going to be related to my passion and something that I will do if I have to for free. Like if I had to work for free and it wouldn't bother me, that will be what I want to do. And I created a company around that, and it's been very successful.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. It's so important. You've mentioned a few things throughout as of this point. Planning, how that is very important. Taking that leap of faith, even when things seem a little scary at times, especially when starting something new.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty, integrity, how that is important in any field you're at, whether you do own your own business or you're working for somebody else, because you want to have that trust. You want to have that type of relationship with those around you. And also passion. See, if you're trying to figure out what is it that I enjoy doing, what's my passion, what would I see myself doing in the future, think about those things for you. What would they be? Something that, am I willing to do this for free? And it's so important to have that, because that's that drive, right? To get up in the morning, to do it, day in and day out. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's all related somehow to the same thing, to what wakes you up, and what, if you're driving to work and you're hating it and you're saying, oh my gosh, I gotta go deal with this guy and I gotta do this and I have to go make this phone call and send this email, and you're hating what your day is about to become, that's probably not something you want to do for too long.
Yeah, true. Well, who has been your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter for sure has been my wife.
That's me.
If she was here, oh wait, that's you. It's the truth, she's been always there, and I always say she's a rock in our family. And we move together in synergy, and that always helps to have your spouse as somebody you can rely on is really, really important. So
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I know you say it all the time, but thank you again.
You're welcome.
Well, what would you say to somebody who's maybe in one of those types of careers that they're looking to try to get out, right? But sometimes they're afraid to do so because, they've been there, they've been invested so long, and it's hard to take that step out of it. But they feel it in their gut, and they might be like, okay, I don't like what I'm doing. I'm always anxious. I'm hating my job. What would you say to them? Again, whether it's changing careers, changing even within the same field to a different company, or starting their own business?
Just do it. There's nothing else nobody else but you is gonna stand between your dream and making it happen. There's people that are gonna say yes, do it. There's people that are gonna say no, never do it. A lot of the times, somebody's gonna try to give you advice in an area that they have no clue about. And I learned to not listen to people that, if I want to get advice on finances, I'm not going to go to my broke uncle. If I want to get advice on marriage, I'm not going to go to my divorced aunt, right? Same way, you don't get to listen to all that noise from people saying, oh, wow, you're going to leave this good job making all this money with insurance. You're crazy. Why would you do that? Well, because it's going to make me happy. Because if you chase money, you're going to end up probably doing it all over again. If you chase something that is what makes you happy and you want to do, the money will come. Yeah. And that's what I did. It was very, very hard to leave that job of 27 years making a steady paycheck to go completely on our own. And it's, as you know, been very, very challenging, but I wouldn't change it for anything. So to someone that is thinking about it, I will say, you got one life. It's not like you can try it this life, and if it doesn't work, you can maybe wait again and do it the next time. I would say do it, because every single day that you wait is going to be a day at the end that you don't have, right? Yeah. So I would say do it. Now, have a plan. don't just don't just quit your job without having a plan. I worked on it for 14 years. So it took me 14 years. I hope it doesn't take you 14 years, but it took me 14 years to be able to leave the 9 to 5 and eventually do what we do now and be able to be here, doing this on a Friday at 9 a.m. It's amazing, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So I would just say, do it. Take advice from people that are doing what you want to do and people that you look up to. Don't take advice from the naysayers and the people that say that's not going to happen, that's too hard. Don't look for like safety and I want the safest, easiest route, because that's not going to be the path to success. So
yeah, and usually the challenging ones are the ones that stretch you and help you grow and get into the next stage, next season of your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's so important. And seeking out people, right? Taking that leap of faith, stepping out of your comfort zone, invite somebody out to breakfast, lunch, dinner that you admire, and say, hey, can I just have a few minutes of your time? I really want to learn from you. And
absolutely.
Just do it. Yeah. Well, my last question is, how do you stand and empower?
Well, I stand by not following the crowds. I stand by not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I stand by being myself and knowing that I am in my own race. I think one of the worst things you can do is to try to compete and try to see what everybody else is doing and let that affect you in a way that, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or at this stage in my life I should be further away, or anything like that. So I just stand by being myself, and I don't think I'm very normal, but not in a bad way. I don't think, you just don't want to be average and do what everybody else does. And so I stand by just being myself and try to break the mold. And you say you can break some rules but don't break the law, right? I tend to do that, and I like I try to be different. I try to be myself. I try to be happy with myself, because if I'm not happy with me, the world is not gonna see the best version of myself. And I think that is very important, that we provide the world with the best version of ourselves. That's we all have a set of gifts and skills, and I think it's important that we give back to the world what has been given to us, and we use those gifts, right? And how do I empower? In 2005, somebody gave me a CD on how to set goals by Brian Tracy, and that changed my life. Since that day, almost with no fail, I've been listening to motivational stuff, videos, materials, conferences for about, normally I spend about an hour a day, and it's now been 20 years, and I completely, if I can say what is one of the main things that has helped me do what I do and be where I am today is the fact that I got into self-development and motivational materials, and I try to talk as much as I can to people. I try to empower anyone at any age. It could be an employee I was training, or a finance guy that I was under my wing when I was a finance director, or whatever that was. I was always speaking live and trying to motivate them. But then you find out that people have to flip their own switch at some point. And you can only do so much. But for the ones that are willing to listen, I'm in that journey. I'm still learning every single day, and the more I learn, the more I know that I just don't know anything. So.
Yeah, and it's about planting that seed, right? You did your part. You shared whatever that other person wants to do with it. That's on them. But it's that responsibility, right, to give back. And again, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why Stand and Empower was developed.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's fun, and I think you're you're doing an amazing thing. Yeah, this is great work.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks again for sharing all of this knowledge. And if you have any questions for Jorge, I'm going to include his information in the link. But it was great having you in today's segment. So
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me.
We'll see you next time at Stand and Empower.
See you.